I'm gonna make this video for you guys. I want to show you guys like a principle that I really believe in Jiu Jitsu, and I think Stan was asking me to make this video, maybe show you guys like my viewpoint on Jiu Jitsu and my teaching style. So anyway, we're gonna get right into it. One thing that you're preached from the beginning of Jiu Jitsu is efficiency. Efficiency, it's number one, but nobody really tells you like how that applies to your actual movement. Like, okay, if this armbar is easier, it must be efficient. Maybe it is, maybe it's not, I don't know. But I'll show you guys one way you can measure efficiency in your actual game, and it'll give you guys a way to improve the techniques that you're doing, and maybe you know, kind of diagnose the problems you may be having. Okay, so essentially my efficiency is going to be based on the amount of energy I put in, okay, and how effective the actual movement is. All right, and one way to test that when I'm moving is if between me and my opponent, who is making the larger movements. Okay, if I'm moving in a smaller motion than him and I'm still able to do techniques against him, then I'm being more efficient than he is overall. Okay, if you have a technique that causes a certain reaction and that reaction is a bigger movement than you're making, then you can pretty well diagnose, you know, that technique is an efficient technique, especially in comparison to your opponent's movement. All right. So, for instance, one of the techniques that I really believe in is a seated guard technique. It's a butterfly elevation. Okay, it's the seated kani basami. Okay, so kani basami would be like the scissor sweep, like the standing scissor sweep where you jump and catch the 411 or honey hole or whatever. That's pretty much what that is. Can we go with the other leg? So, if you'll look, I'm just attaching my shin here. I'm attaching my hand to the back of the knee. My other leg goes up the middle. Okay, so I'm here, boom. And then I like this grip. This is one of my favorite grips in the seated guard because it allows me to break posture. I can go forward, backward, side to side. The Kazushi possibility here is tremendous. All right, I love this one. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to cause Kazushi. Okay, so I'm off balance. I'm going to use a rehearsed Sukuri, which would be my entry. Okay, and then once I enter, I'm going to then execute the technique against my opponent. And every movement that I make should be smaller than his. And that way I'm more efficient than him. So my Kazushi is simply going to be my knee into the sternum, a small amount, okay? And then I'm going to open and drive my forearm into his shoulder here. I'm going to push him over that back corner where there's no base. Okay? If you'll notice, all I did was, boom, about an inch with my knee. Boom, about 6 inches with my hand, okay? And make a little posture. And Chase's whole body moves and his hand goes flying way out there on the mat. So we go back a little bit. This is my Kazushi, okay? This is going to be my first efficient movement. Boom, he moved way more than I did, okay? Once I open him, he's completely open now, I can do my Sukuri, my entry. So I'm going to enter while he's still off balance. Okay? So I'm entered, okay? I'm in my position. And now as Chase corrects his base, I'm just going to start elevating and lifting. And if you'll notice, I'm not making that big a movement, but Chase's whole body's going into the air, okay? And now Chase is going to make a choice right now. He's either going to stay balled up, stick his legs out in 2 different directions, or stick one of his legs out, all right? One of the 3. And he can make whatever choice he wants. I'm just going to elevate now, and we'll see where he goes. Boom, he stuck his leg out. Perfect. By Chase choosing to stick his leg out, he made this big movement. All I have to do to capitalize is bring my foot to his hip. That's it. Okay, now I have him in Ashigurami. He's standing, or he has a base. All right, and his base, his weight is driven this way. All right, so now I want to pin Chase so that I can start to attack his leg. I'm just going to push this way. Chase is going to make a choice. Generally, he's going to stack into me and open his knee. As he opens his knee, I drive his knee to the mat. I sit up. I can start to attack, and that's that. Every movement that I made in there was much, much, much smaller than the movement Chase made as a reaction. Okay? Every single one, from my Kazushi, my Sukuri, the Kake there at the end. Every bit of it was 100% efficient compared to what he was doing. Everything was big, okay? So you can take every movement and break it down to that. Even when it comes to transitions, if I have to move more than my opponent to transition, it's going to be easier for him to not only get away from me, but also to conserve energy and defend and do all these things that I don't want him to do. Right? My movements always need to be smaller than my opponent's, and I will have efficiency. Okay? So that's kind of the idea. That's one application of it. There are so many applications. Just like any principle, you can spread it across your entire game. But I just wanted to share that one with you. Thank you guys, and I hope you guys have great training.